Yeah. Hey people, okay, what you're looking at here, this is my fuel sender for the fuel gauge, and yeah, I drilled a hole in it and I soldered a piece of copper tube into it. I had to do it twice because I had to sitting up too high the first time. I had to cut a bit off it. I did bend that. I bent that using heat. I filled it with sand, plug one end, just squash one end, and plug the other end with a bit of paintbrush handle, actually, not this one. Yeah, heated it up and bend it. Sand stops it from kinking. And yeah, I soldered it in. Wasn't the... I don't know if this is the greatest idea I've had. Yeah, there isn't really a lot of room to like in the sander unit to do this, and yeah, I've got to hope that I haven't mucked up the sander by putting heat on it. I didn't initially do it with a map gas torch, but yeah, it just started melting this nylon piece, and yeah, so I ended up finishing it off just with a soldering iron, which is really difficult. It took a long time because both of these, like the plate and the copper tube, just kept sucking the heat out of it. But I managed to get it in. It's on there. It's solid. Wasn't that confident of how well it's sealed, so as you can see, I've gone over it with some JB Weld just to ensure that it's sealed. I'm going to hope actually that it's not going to leak from this wire connection now. Don't think it will. It appears the only place it actually comes through is just there, and that appears to still be intact. The wires are still soldered on, so it hasn't affected the solder on the connections, so yeah, hopefully we're good. Right, what this is for, right, if you haven't watched previous videos, I put a two-stage 3236 Weber on it. Made my own manifold. There's several videos on this. Like this is like the third model. I had tried two different things that didn't actually work that well. But anyway, I won't go into that right now. But trouble I'm having now is that I've got too much fuel pressure and it's flooding continuously. Even though the float level's set properly, the needle and the seat are in good shape, but it's just too much pressure for it. And people get around this by adding a fuel regulator, to take the pressure down. But that's a component that, for one, you have to buy, and I don't want to spend money because I haven't got it anyway. And secondly, every component you add onto it is something that can break down, that can leave you stranded somewhere. So that's why I didn't go down that route. And I did test it. See, this carby has a return line. So that's so when it builds up too much pressure, it's got a little tiny hole in it, so the excess pressure can go out. And I took that off and just put a clear hose onto a drum, while it was in the car, and ran it. And there is a considerable amount of fuel, that bypasses and comes back out. So so what I'm in the process of doing now is running a line back to the tank. That's what that pipe's for in the fuel sender. That's for a return line. And I thought about, there was other places I could have put it, But the first place I thought of putting it was in here. I thought of undoing this plug. So you didn't want to try and solder or weld anything onto the tank, because that involves, you know, draining it out and defueling it and degassing it, and yeah, a whole lot of hassle that I didn't want to go to. And initially I was going to drill a hole in here and weld a piece onto there, or find a threaded fitting that I could screw into it. But I decided not to go with that because of the way I packed things in here all the time, it'd end up getting damaged, broken, it'd leak, cause a problem. And the second place I thought of was up here. I thought about putting a T-piece in here, 1/2 inch to quarter or 6mm. And then, same thing. I didn't really want to put another connection on there, that's 3 clamps, 3 joins, 3 places that it can leak from, so that's why I didn't do that either. And so I've gone for this. The other good thing, like the thing with this too, which wouldn't be the case on your normal bug, but on here, this is a spare tyre carrier. Yeah, sits in there, and the spare tyre holder goes over the top of it and protects it, and then the tyre itself goes over the top of it, so nothing's ever going to bump it, never going to damage it loading things in the front. So, and the reason I've decided to do this now, as I said, it's been flooding, and I can tell this one, like when I back off and go down a long hill, it's backfiring. That's excess fuel, and it's been using more fuel than it should as well. But the other thing that happens is that, if I go for a drive, I park it somewhere, come out, 5-10 minutes later, and go to start it, it's flooded, and it's really difficult to start. It just keeps flooding after you've turned it off. It just bypasses the needle in the seat and floods the engine after you've turned it off. So it really had to be done. But the reason I'm doing it now, if you haven't watched the previous video, I had the gearbox engine and gearbox out, and also I got given some copper pipe, so I've got plenty of copper pipe now, like narrow copper pipe. I'll show you that in a sec. But rather than pull up the original fuel line, I'm going to, like you can see the hole down there where the nose of the gear shift part of the gearbox goes through into the floor or into the hump. So over and beside it on this side, I'm going to drill a hole here. It'll be a fairly big hole, 32mm, I think the hole saw I've got. That's the only one that's reasonably sharp. So I'm going to drill that there, and then I'm going to drill another one in the side of the hump under the fuel tank. I'll take the fuel tank out. And I'm going to run 2 new pipes through, because this one, that's a steel fuel line, and it's been in here since 1971, so if it's not leaking already, it's only a matter of time before it does. It's got to be rusty. Like, the tube that the accelerator cable goes through is rusty. And so is the 2 handbrake tubes. They're both rusted. And I know that because when you go to feed the cables through, they jam up in certain places. So that tells me there's already holes in those 3 tubes. So yeah, it was only a matter of time before this starts leaking. And yeah, so I'm going to replace both of them. And bang my head on the bloody thing again. Jeez, that's annoying. I got permanent scabs on my head because I'm continuously banging my head on stuff. And so where is my fuel? Oh, yeah. Here's one of them. This is the narrower one. The other one's a bit thicker, but it's not quite long enough, so I'm going to have to join it. I've got a bit of this thicker one. This thicker one will fit directly over the top of it. It's a nice tight fit on there. So I'm going to have to solder that on. And it's going to be a problem now because I've run out of map gas. I went in to get another one today and they've only got packs of 3. I didn't have enough money for that, so yeah, I thought, hopefully I got enough to get by, but I haven't run out. So what I do have is an old soldering iron. Like, yeah, the electric wouldn't do that on the pipe, wouldn't provide enough heat. But I've got an old soldering iron somewhere. Actually, anyway, hopefully I'll be able to find it. It's big, like square chunk, yeah, and it's what used to get used in the old days, before gas. And what you do is you stick it in the fire. It's a big solid chunk of copper on the end of it, with a handle, like a handle, and then another wooden piece on the end. And yeah, that will provide enough heat to solder those pipes. So I'm gonna have to do that old school way. I needed that soldering iron for a tank that I did. I did I welded a lot of fuel tanks until I'm mostly motorbikes. And I have this way of degassing it in that I drain it, sit it out on the grass, then I run a trail of fuel about 10, 12 foot or something and light it up. And you just let it burn, and when it goes out you can weld it. And you always get a second woof. So if you're going to do that with a tank, make sure you've got everything out. All the caps, taps, gauges, every outlet has to be open or it'll explode. So I mean, it'll go woof, and it might even lift it off the ground, but it won't blow it apart because all your openings are open. You only get an explosion if there's nowhere for the fire to go. Anyway, I was getting back to with this tank that I did. I did this with a boat tank, a very antique boat tank. And what I didn't realise is that joins, like, was a 2-piece thing, and the joints were soldered. And when I burnt the fuel out of it, it melted all the solder and this thing fell apart. And it didn't even belong to me, it belonged to a bloke up the road. And so, I then had to solder this whole fuel tank back together. And that was the purpose of seeking out this iron. And I managed to find one in a second-hand shop. Got real lucky with it. But anyway, so that's what I'll be using for the pipe. It's the other pipe's out here, actually. Need to get it down and bring it in anyway. So the other pipe's sort of bigger than what I need, but that's okay. As long as it's not too small, it'll be fine. Probably only need guess I won't be getting that down there. There's probably actually enough in there for both lines. That's a thought. Maybe I don't have to solder those two together. I didn't realise it was that long. No, I'm going to need a ladder and 2 hands to get that down. But But yeah, that's what I got given. So as I said, another reason for doing it now. Now that I have the opportunity, don't have to buy anything. So yeah. Anyway, enough of ramble for today. So yeah, well, one more thing I wanted to show you, because it's like, yeah, the original fuel lines and your other pipes that run through the centre of your bug, through the hump, you know, they're secured in places so that they don't rattle. You know, they're held up, but I don't have any way of doing that, so I'm going to feed both the pipes. This is through this. This is pipe lagging. This is what you put around your hot water pipes in your house. And yeah, so I'm going to squeeze both pipes through all of that. Sit them in that so they don't rattle. So yeah, anyway, I get this sender unit back in. Take the fuel tank out and drain it now. And yeah, also got to take the front bull bar off, and I'm going to move the plate, the access plate. And that's the plate, yeah. I was hoping that I didn't actually cover it up with the body, but no, I've got plenty of room. So I'll just get to get this bull bumper off. But yeah, while I've got that off, I'm going to pull the gear shift out too, because the bush is gone in the gear shaft, the one that's sort of behind the gear stick. So I've ordered another one of them, and yeah, hopefully it won't be too many days before it arrives. So I won't have it off the road for too many days. Anyway, I'll do another video when I get things, holes drilled and pipes installed, and just, yeah, show you what I've done. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and listen to my ramble. Bye.